before you get
Yes,
on, right?
and you're also hoping that it's over 25 degrees whenever that happens.
That's right. So again, as we'll look at video from Alpine Meadows coming up in just a second, but Lake Tahoe area, I mean, my impressions of it are, especially if you're skiing, when you get up in that area, you've got the mountains on one side. I mean, you could have 10 feet of snow where you're standing, and you could have a beautiful lake and sunshine right within your view. Is that, am my impressions correct? Is that what it's like when you go out there?
Yeah, it's definitely what it's like, because what happens is a lot of that snow is elevational, and when those storms come in, they are really big storms. And unfortunately for some people who live in California, they're dealing with some flooding situations and difficult travel and landslides and some of the things that go with that aren't very good. But in ski country, it's always a very good thing because outside of the fact that you have to plow this snow, it's just beautiful skiing. And yeah, you get up there and you're on one side of the mountain, you could be in California, and then the same day you could be skiing in Nevada, and you've got beautiful views of Lake Tahoe as far as the eyes can see at some of these areas. And that's a pretty nice thing because, a big part of when we go skiing isn't just the action of the skiing itself, which is absolutely wonderful, but it's the views. It's the opportunity to see what nobody else can see when you're up on a mountain in the middle of winter. And what better way to get around than riding chairlifts and being on skis? It's probably the easiest way.
Now let's talk about Squaw Valley. Squaw Valley is one of those places that the name just evokes so much history. Again, a place that I've never been, but it strikes me that Squaw Valley is one of those places where when it was built or when they had Olympics there, it really put it on the map. And now it's one of those legendary names when you hear it.
Oh, yeah, and they have that beautiful Olympic Village there, and they also have their high camp where you ride a cable car up to it, and an ice skating rink is right there. It's really a wonderful area, and they used to have that outdoor ice skating rink is legendary. They used to have hockey and figure skating competitions at that. So there's a whole lot of history that goes with Squaw Valley, plus a whole lot of acreage of snow and skiing, and you can see in the pictures right here. This isn't just stock footage or anything. This is skiing that you're looking at that happened over the past couple of days. Very deep powder, really expansive terrain. So Squaw Valley is a real jewel, and certainly skiing that has a lot of history, as well as many other sports since the Winter Olympics were held there. I don't know if it was twice or three times. I should really brush up on that. But a wonderful place for skiing, and certainly at this time because like all the others in Central and Northern California, got hammered with several feet of snow from this last storm. Some of these areas are already closing in on 300 inches of snow so far this winter. That's incredible. That's a full season of snow, and we're not even at Christmas Day yet. Some of these areas in other years were going into Christmas Day hoping they would get their first snowstorm, and already we're 4 or 5 snowstorms into it. And each one of them has been a monster storm, not something small.
Let's work our way back from California towards our area of the country. And let's go from California to Utah. And you got some great pictures here from Park City, from Alta, from the canyons. We'll show these pictures. You talk about the skiing in Utah, Chuck.
Okay, well, when snow falls in California or anywhere on the West Coast, you're usually expecting that snow to go somewhere afterwards, and it's going to go eastward. Well, it went eastward to Utah. And a lot of those areas may not have hooked up with 7 or 8 feet of fresh snow because, the storm doesn't carry the same momentum that it does when it's out in the Pacific Ocean, but it carries momentum nonetheless. And 3 feet is nothing to frown at, certainly. And a lot of those areas picked up 3 feet of fresh snow from this last storm. So Park City and Alta and the canyons, all 3 areas that I've skied at as recently as past year. And you can see right now, pictures of beautiful powder skiing. This is yesterday at those mountains. Their photo of the day, and you can just see what it's like when you're floating in that kind of snow and getting face shots, as we like to call them, when the snow is just shooting right up in your face. It's a unique scenario, even when you're out there, because you've got to catch it on the right day. And yesterday was certainly the right day, and I think we have a few more of those days coming up in the West.
Chuck, I'm excited that my kids are getting a little older. I'm actually saddened. You always get saddened as your kid gets older because you realize they're going to leave the house eventually. Then you get happy. But anyway, enough about me. About my kids, I'm excited because we ski as a family, and I'm being taken to these places by you, and we're looking at all these things, and I think to myself that even people that have just begun skiing, this is an opportunity to go to a place like that, to plan a trip for a week or for 4 days, and to go to a place you may never normally see, and to hit the slopes a little bit and have some fun. And it's just, they're majestic. I mean, we look at these pictures, and it's just, I said this to you before, and you fully agreed with me. When you get on the mountain, all your cares go away. You never, ever regret when you do that. So it's just crazy not to take advantage of those opportunities.
Well, you know, I love the travel aspect of skiing, and my family's a little bit older than yours. I have a son who's just out of college, actually working at Sugarbush in Vermont right now, so he's still, you know, enjoying the fruits of the ski industry, and loves to ski and snowboard, has both sports under his belt and is quite proficient at both. I have a daughter who is in high school, and she loves to snowboard and has a good time, and we have taken trips out west. Several years ago, went to Steamboat in Colorado, and it's just discovering a whole new world and a whole new aspect that goes with skiing. And, you know, as a person who loves to travel and loves to be active, what better way to do it than to hit the slopes? I would rather do that than have one of those passive amusement park style vacations. That's not to say that I haven't done that, but it's just, for me, so much more rewarding when you're standing at elevations around our parts of, you know, 3,000 and 4,000 feet. And when you go over out west, when you're at elevations that can be as much as 10 and 11,000 feet, and just enjoying the wonders that go with it, and seeing the views and seeing a whole environment around you that looks so much different than where you live. And that's the beauty of traveling when you ski. And you can find a lot of that just being here in New England. I can remember years and years and years ago when I made my first trip to the White Mountains and seeing how fantastic that looked, to see the whole presidential range and
Right.
and all the snow above the tree line. It was just beautiful to me. And that's the type of thing that you find all the time, whether you're going to a place where you're traveling thousands of miles, or you're going to one of your favorite resorts that you haven't been to in a while. Like when my wife and I skied at Okemo just yesterday, it was beautiful just to see the views of the mountain, and to know you're outside in winter at an elevation of 3,000 feet. That's something that not a lot of people get the opportunity to do or choose not to do. I'm so glad that I chose to do it.
Well, as we get to the Northeast, as you brought it up, we'll take some look at some video of Mount Snow. And one of the things I wanted to echo with you, whether you have a young family or an older family, whether it's with your siblings, whether it's with your friends out of college, I think one of the things that's underrated that always reminds me once I get up there, I have the best conversations with my kids on the chairlift. In a generation where they're growing older and they dive into their electronic devices, and the generation gap sometimes can be there. The family love is always there. But you get on a chairlift, you're sharing a shared experience, and you're watching all this stuff go on, and you're coming down the mountain, and it builds a bond with you. You really can do that.
Well, I skied with my son and daughter both since they were 3 years old. And I remember so many of those experiences so well. I mean, you know, going back to, you know, a time when I would be, you know, showing my daughter a few extra pointers on how to ski, and having her, you know, act as if she were an airplane, or maybe sometimes if she were a bunny, you know, putting her hands in front of her, you know, to do some skiing at a place like Burke Mountain, and just, you know, enjoying my time with her and remembering those scenes for the rest of my life. I can picture it now when I say it. Or bringing my son, you know, years and years and years ago, where, you know, we'd have a whole day planned out where we'd go skiing, we'd choose these different trails, and then when we were all done, we'd go to the arcade and blow a bunch of money in one of the old school video games. But it was all just a great routine. And, you know, those experiences change over the years as they get older, but they're equally as fun for different reasons. And it's certainly an opportunity for you to always be close with your kids when you're enjoying time with them outdoors that way. And I crave it, and I know my kids do too.
If you go to my computer, guys, you see snocountry.com. They have so many features on there for you to get interested and informed and educated and have some fun with skiing. And one of them up on my computer right now is Herb Stevens, the skiing weatherman, who's been a staple with you guys for a long time. He's got his latest report up there, just posted yesterday. What's Herb up to now? What's he talking about these days, Chuck?
Herb was skiing at Jay Peak, and that was posted last week, actually. But still, he goes to different mountains each week, and you know, shows you the scene of a different mountain, so you get a feeling of what it's like to go there. You know, one of the great things about being in New England is skiing around, and he does that certainly. And there's some pictures of Jay Peak and some of the new things that they've got going at Jay. There's the big brand new Tram House Grand Hotel behind him. You saw that ice skating rink as well, which is, an NHL style ice skating rink. And then after that, you're getting conditions at the various areas depending on, where you live. He's on 31 television stations all around the Northeast, and he's living the life, because this weekend, or right now, as a matter of fact, he's at Jackson Hole in Wyoming, and we talked about the snow that they've picked up. It's been, I think, close to 200 inches so far this winter, and it's not as if this storm in California that's coming across is missing them. They're actually probably getting snow as we speak. So there's going to be some wonderful pictures coming from Jackson Hole from his reports, and you either catch him on a local television station, which depending on where you live, we're all along the East Coast and also out in the Rocky Mountains, or you can catch his reports on snocountry.com, as we put them up every Thursday, and they run throughout the week. And if you want to get a look at various different areas, we have all the reports that run throughout the winter. We keep an archive on snocountry.com.
Chuck, let me ask you about Okemo, since we're in the Northeast. I'm going up tomorrow, hightailing it, or Friday morning with my family up to my father-in-law's in Naples, Maine. The kids have learned to ski at Shawnee Peak right down the street there. We've skied Cranmore. Oftentimes we go over to Attitash. We also go up to Sunday River, all which were within an hour of where my father-in-law lives. Sometimes we go up to Sugarloaf, which is a haul. It always kills me how deep that really is into the woods. But I'm thinking of possibly taking them to a different place. I've been to Okemo once when I was in college with my friends. My friend's family had a house on the mountain. It's a great mountain. Tell me some unique things about Okemo, though, and what's their conditions right now?
Okay, well, I had a chance to ski at Okemo on Monday, and it's a place that's near and dear to me because it was one of the places when I first moved up to Vermont some 25 years ago that I used to frequent quite a bit. I was enticed by the idea. I was not a very experienced skier at the time, and I saw that they had this trail, Mountain Road, which was 5 miles long, and it was an easier trail, and I thought, wow, that's a lot of distance. That could really be something. And I ended up doing a lot of my early skiing there, as well as Suicide 6 in Woodstock, Vermont, a smaller area that was closer to my home and work. But for Okemo, it's a great area, especially for people who like groomed cruising trails, because they have 5 different mountain peaks going, starting with Jackson Gore, that has this big, beautiful lodge and hotel and has that real ski village type aspect to it. That's where I often like to start my day, and it's pretty modern at Jackson Gore. It's something that they built within the past 5 or 6 years. And, so you start at the Jackson Gore Mountain and then work your way all the way over to their south face with several mountains in between, a trail network that has, over 110 slopes and covers some 40 miles of skiing. So when I go to Okemo, I know that I'm going to be able to count on a lot of groomed cruising runs. And when I skied there most recently, which was Monday, I had a chance to take 14 runs and just really wonderful leg burners. And a good workout to have during the early season, and kind of cool because they had a lot of ice fog right at the top of their mountain, which gave an interesting look, and a lot of weather changes throughout the day, which is one of the other things I love about skiing. My feet got a little cold towards the very end there because I was trying to push to get a few extra runs in, but just an enjoyable time, and a lot of different restaurants around the mountain, whether you want to just a bread bowl of chili, or if you want to go for something a little bit more gourmet, like their Epic restaurant on the bottom of their Solitude Peak, which I went for. And anyone who's into snowboarding or even, terrain park features, skiers too, lots of different big air rails and jumps on terrain parks set all over the mountain at Okemo.
Chuck, you mentioned that your son works at Sugarbush, you said?
Sugarbush. And
that's up in Vermont, correct?
Yes, that is as you go up Route 100, which is Vermont's skiers' highway. Many ski areas are very close to Route 100 within a couple miles in either direction. Starting with Mount Snow, Stratton, Okemo, Killington, Pico, and working your way all the way up to Sugarbush would be the next one in progression after Killington's, maybe 45 minutes further north. So Sugarbush is in, central, kind of northern Vermont.
I want you to talk about Sugarbush a little bit more, but I want to use it as an example for your website. I go on your website, I click on Vermont, I go to Sugarbush, it takes me right to a page that you have for every resort. It gives you the conditions right on there. And while most of them seem obvious, what am I looking for if I'm a novice skier? Like I look here and I see that the base depth is between 1 foot and 26 inches, that they received 14 to 23 inches over the past 7 days. That sounds good to me, but what am I looking for? What do you encourage people to get when they go? Because this is on your website for every place that you do. What do you encourage them to do? What can we learn by going on here? What we're trying to find out.
Different skiers are going to learn different things when they go to the website. Okay, for someone like me, I'm going to mostly look at the weather because at that point, you know, I'm a ski reporter, so I can make a judgment almost based on the temperature or how recently snow fell or what kind of snow they've been making, what type of condition a mountain is going to be in.
Yeah, so you're like the boater that's looking at the tides and also looking at the wind and looking how big the chop is rather than whether the sun's out or not.
Yeah, more or less. I mean, we all like sunshine, but that's very true. You know, there are certain factors where I'm going to know, and I'll even know like 4 or 5 days out. I'll just, you know, say to one of my coworkers, hey, you know, Wednesday, it looks like it's going to be upper 20s and sunny. I think that's the day. And I don't even think about it from that point on, you know, what the ski report's going to say or anything like that, because it's just something that's instinctual between all of us. For someone who is a novice skier, you want to make sure that there's enough novice terrain available for you. And we're getting to a point now where you don't even have to check that anymore because every ski area has that because they've either made enough snow at this point. If you're in the eastern United States, most areas are moving in on 100% of their snowmaking terrain, whether they're located in Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, or even in Virginia or North Carolina. The novice terrain is available. And as long as you know that terrain is available, I would suggest going as far as to click right to the ski area itself and find out what type of packages they have for people who want to learn to ski, or novice skiers, you know, as far as take a look at what green trails are on the map. And if you're someone who has a bit of skiing under your belt, try to see those green circle trails, which ones are going to cover a little more terrain. So you'll know how much skiing you'll have available to yourself. So that's kind of what you need to know. Ski areas are going to go out and groom their snow every single day, and that's what's going to put it in very good shape. You know, if it's a very cold day after a day it rained, those are some of the days where, you know, if I were to choose a day that I would be less inclined to ski than another one, that would be the day. But you know, we're in a situation right now where we've had cold day after cold day now for what's been 10 straight days. They've all been snowmaking days. So the snow is in nice shape, and as long as it stays cold, the condition of the snow doesn't fluctuate. That's why the pack powder we have now is going to remain pack powder for quite a while.
Yeah, as I get to know your website more, and again, guys, if you'll go to my computer, I'm still on the Sugar Bush Resort site. It's just so easy to use, and it's so fun. I mean, a couple other features we love, obviously, but you got your videos all down the bottom here, for example, and now we post our interviews that you and I do down below here, so if people want more information. But the visual part of skiing, to be able to look at it, years ago you wouldn't have thought about that. Now we have the ability to do that and give people stuff that from yesterday that they could see today. The other part is this little tab that says today's Inside Scoop events and details. So for example, I'm going up this weekend, and if I wanted to go to Sugar Bush, I know they have a Christmas dinner at the Timbers. I know they also have a New Year's Eve party. It also gives me a number how to contact them. I love the fact that you made it kind of one-stop shopping for everybody, because no matter who you are, you're going to want to do other things besides ski on the mountain.
No, not only that, yeah, Christmas weekend, a lot of different ski areas have fireworks. So by going to our site, you're going to find out which ones will be doing fireworks, and whether they'll be doing it on Christmas night, Saturday night, or maybe they're going to be doing it on Sunday night. Someone might be doing it closer to New Year's, and with fireworks, they're going to have celebrations. And anytime during the holidays, ski areas are pulling out all the stops as far as live bands, magicians, entertainment for the kids. Some places have petting zoos. Or even you might have some rail jams going on under the lights at night. So different skiers and snowboarders get to compete on the rails and the jumps. Always surrounding weekends and holidays, you're going to find many more exciting events for people who are heading up, taking their ski vacations.
Now, Chuck, it's 11 o'clock right now, so I know you have plenty of radio commitments, and you're always busy doing a bunch of other stuff. How are you for time right now? Do you want to whip through these other mountains real quick?
I've got all the time in the world for you.
Oh, Chuck, look at that. Look at that. He want...
No
Then
problem.
let's
But
go through these mountains and let's...
usually when I'm done with this stuff, I say that I'm doing the radio, but I'm going back onto my fantasy football side and obsessing. So I don't have to do that anymore.
So we're therapeutic for you
I'm
today. That's what we are. We're therapeutic for you today. Right?
You bet.
Being able to spend some time because you don't want to go to that fantasy side anymore. That's now a black hole for you. You got nothing to play for anymore, right?
Right. It's a place of sadness now.
All right, then let's whip through these other mountains here in the Northeast and give us the latest conditions and maybe one fun fact that we might not know about Stratton, for example, which is another mountain another resort in Vermont.
Well, Stratton is one of those resorts that when you're walking right up to the mountain itself, it has a village, so you're getting to see all the nice shops. And if you're really looking for that Christmas type atmosphere, that's one way to have it, because you get a little bit of a Christmas in the city or the village as you're walking to the mountain itself. And then when you get on the mountain, one of the things that they're really famous for there are their black diamond cruisers. They have a lot of black diamond trails that are groomed nice and smooth, so you get the steepness that you want, but you also have a trail that's nice and groomed, and a lot of them are very, very wide, like wider than 2 or 3 football fields when you're heading down, and which also makes, and they shoot straight down the mountain too. So those are really nice runs. Whenever I go to Stratton, I'm expecting a really nice ride, and it's certainly a comfortable ride up the mountain, because they have at least 2 or 3 high-speed 6-pack chairs, and they also have a gondola to take you up the mountain. So very good access up the mountain, great skiing going down. Terrain Park's wonderful shape, as they have hosted the U.S. Open for snowboarding many, 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 many years and continue to. And they also have a brand new border cross course at Stratton. And I don't know if you've ever seen border cross, but it's almost like a motocross on skis, a little bit part NASCAR, part skiing, or part snowboarding, depending on who's competing on there, with all kinds of jumps and banks. Really, really exciting. We'll get some footage of that down the road, but border cross is really exciting, and Stratton has a full course now all set to go.
In New Hampshire, there are always so many mountains, Waterville Valley, and when the weather gets warmer, or when the conditions, you can always count on real good ski if you have to go way up north. But at times like these, all of New Hampshire is loving all of this. And plus, if you're in New England, or if you're in Massachusetts, it's a stone throw to get up to, for example, Waterville Valley. And I also see on Waterville Valley, as we talk about them, that they have New Year's Eve fireworks coming up at their mountain too.
Wow, you were able to find that out that quickly, huh?
Chuck, I'm an expert on snocountry.com now. I'm whipping right around here.
So are you making plans to see some holiday fireworks with your kids?
I don't know yet. I know we're going up for Christmas weekend. I'm going to come back here next week, midweek. We got a big week to do things around here. I'm not sure what we're going to do New Year's weekend. So I don't know. I'm trying to convince myself what to do.
Okay. Waterville Valley also has that town square type of village. Their village is isolated away from the mountain a little bit. It's not right in front of the mountain the way it is at Stratton, but it's a really nice setup, and they have their shops too, and some of the lodging around there. And you're seeing pictures of Waterville Valley right now. You can just see that everything is looking so good. It's midwinter conditions at this point, and the trails are in great shape. That's further up the mountain there where you can see they have a mid-mountain or upper mountain lodge, at the bottom of one of their lifts. So Waterville Valley is in very nice shape. I had a friend and co-worker, one of our broadcasts, skiing at Bretton Woods yesterday. He was already on one of their gladed trails. The glades, with glades, you're skiing between trees. They've cut paths where you're actually doing your skiing between the trees. He said the coverage was very, very nice in there. So that's speaking well for natural snow cover getting a bit stronger. So natural snow trails maybe a storm or two away in a lot of cases from getting open. But in this case of Bretton Woods, already open, and said the skiing was wonderful there. Loon Mountain, also in New Hampshire, in wonderful shape, as they're already at 20 miles of terrain. They already opened up at their south face or south peak area, which is an area that's for 3 or 4 years. I kind of get my years jumbled up a little bit with some of this, but that is known for some very, very nice long intermediate cruisers on their south peak over at Loon Mountain. And Loon, of course, one of the popular spots because it's so close to I-93, and they have the gondola, and it's been some nice skiing there so far this winter, and everybody continues expanding to the point where they're getting close to 100%, or should at least have 100% of their snowmaking trails when we get to Christmas week, which is always a great accomplishment, and it also instills a lot of confidence in us skiers and riders who are heading up for our holiday trip.
Let's talk about Sunday River very briefly. I know that's a place that I may go up to this weekend because it's so close to where I have to go, but I'm never disappointed when I go there, and they always have fun stuff to do.
Yes, Sunday River, 8 different mountains at Sunday River. Starting, you have Whitecap Mountain, which has the famous White Heat Trail, which is a steep trail that hangs onto its pitch from the top all the way down to the bottom on Whitecap Mountain. And one side of Whitecap Mountain or one side of the White Heat Trail is nice and groomed, and the other side is moguls. And they certainly have a lot of mogul competitions there, and college racers and high school racers always training on their moguls. There's some pictures. This is, I believe this is yesterday. And look at that. That's just beautiful. It gets me wanting to go to Sunday River right now near the town of Bethel, Maine, which is a very beautiful, quintessential New England ski town. And, you know, they go from Whitecap Mountain all the way to Jordan Bowl, which is 8 mountains over. Jordan Bowl has their Lollapalooza Trail, which is a novice trail, but, you know, getting kind of close to intermediate. But that's another trail that's, you know, well over 2 miles long. Just a great run, and certainly a nice network of gladed trails, too, so you can ski between the trees when you're when you want a little extra challenge than what is a network of challenging trails and terrain parks already at Sunday River.
And I like here on your events page our events tab for Sunday River, I like what they've done here. They've separated it by weeks. Sunday River has January 7th, January 14th, and January 28th. And they've also separated it by age. So if you're a college kid, they're telling you, well, you know, it's going to be a little party time on the week of January 7th because it's for college kids. January 14th is for the 10 to 14-year-old, for your young kids if you want to go up there. And then January 28th, it's Go 50 week. I'm not going to tell you which one I'm in, but I think you can figure that out. We all know that, Chuck.
Okay. I'm in that same one. I'm assuming. You're in the college one, right? You want to...
Yeah, right. We'd love to believe...
Keep up with the partiers.
We'd love to believe that you and I belong in the college week, but we know better. When it comes let's before we let you go, Chuck, let's talk about Mountain Creek and the Mid-Atlantic region. How is all this snow? We talked about this last week, but how has it affected Pennsylvania and the what's the name of the mountains there? I keep forgetting.
Poconos.
The Poconos, yes.
Okay. Well, because you do have the Laurel Highlands over in western Pennsylvania, and areas like Seven Springs and Blue Knob over there, or Wisp in Maryland, they've been hooking up with a lot of natural snow. In fact, they've been getting a few inches every day. When you saw the Jets playing against the Steelers this past weekend, it was snowing there. That's the kind of snow they've been getting for a while at Seven Springs. They've gotten 4 or 5 feet of snow so far this winter. Here at Mountain Creek, New Jersey, it's been snowmaking, and almost all snowmaking that has gotten them going this year. But they've already opened all 4 of their mountain areas. They have skiing day and night, and, you know, this is skiing in New Jersey, but in an area that has, you know, 1,000 vertical feet. So you're going to have some nice long trails. And not only that, as you'll see in pictures later on, really big in-terrain park features as far as snowboarding and skiing and finding rails and jumps. Mountain Creek, New Jersey has terrain park features all over the mountain, really gearing towards the younger crowd that likes to take on more than just skiing on the trails the way you and I might, and going for something where the challenge involves rails and jumps and banks and tabletops and things that'll have you soaring, you know, anywhere from 10 to 50 feet in the air.
He's Chuck Devine from snocountry.com. You can go to their website, snocountry.com. You can find him on Twitter at snowcountry radio. You can just turn on the radio if you're driving around New England or anywhere in the country, and you can find ski reports at some of the most powerful stations in the country. And now you can find them here on the Pulse Network at thepulsenetwork.com, and you can consume those videos not only on our website, but also on Chuck's and on his Facebook page right there. Chuck, we enjoy it more and more every week. You're passionate about what you do, and you are to be commended for that. Thanks for joining us again, my friend.
Thank you, Butch, and have a great Christmas.
Yeah, you have a great holiday. Holidays. Yeah, you have a great holiday too. Take care, Chuck.
All right, take it easy.
All right, that is Chuck Devine from snowcountry.com. That is our latest ski report. It'll be up on our website. It'll be out to Chuck as soon as we can get it to him, and on his website too. This is Sports Buzz. Quick break, and we're back with more after this.
The Pulse Network. It's social TV.